Welcome to the Reddit Chronicles. Today we will be reading from Am I the Jerk? Our first post is by Laughing Housemate. Am I the jerk for laughing at my housemate when he suggested I not shower on my period? I've 31F, live in a share house. One of the housemates, Jack, M30, has never lived with a woman outside of his mother, but likes to say that he is aware of women's issues and calls himself a feminist. For instance, he doesn't agree with the saying, "no uterus, no opinion," because it's my job to be informed about any issues that could affect me if I become a father or husband, which is fine until it came to this issue. So, like most biological women, I have periods. I, however, cannot use tampons or cups due to a condition called vaginismus. It's pads all the time for me, yay. I know, the shock shower during this time. Wow. I prepare a new pad onto a clean pair of undies, shower as normal, dry myself off in the shower, and then step straight into the undies. And obviously check the bathroom for mess. Jack's never complained, nor has anyone else, so I figured my system was working. Q today. And I can't shower for 48 hours due to a heart monitor test. I was jokingly complaining about how I was going to survive without my nightly shower, and Jack looked up confused and said, "How is this any different to when you're on your period?" I asked him what he meant, and he said, "Well, you can't shower on your period unless you use a tampon." And I laughed because I thought he was joking. He has shown before that he was at least semi-educated on women, which he got angry at. Jack said, "Wait, well, what do you do?" And I said slowly, "I shower." I wasn't getting it, I'm afraid. Jack said, "Without protecting my bathroom, he does not own the house," and then went off. Apparently my period is unhygienic. It can cause infection if left on the shower floor, and he was under the impression I hadn't been showering for a week when I had my period or using tampons. I said that due to reasons I can't use tampons, and he told me then I'm banned from showering when I'm on my period, which I laughed again, at which I did apologize for, and say, "I'm sorry for laughing," but the audacity of that statement. I told Jack he has no way of enforcing this, nor would I be sticking to this, and he said, "Fine. Then every time you shower, you need to bleach the bathroom afterwards," to which I couldn't help but laugh again, apologizing, but saying, "We're in a share house. That's not reasonable when other people need to shower or use the toilet, and considering I'm sure at least somebody else pees in the shower is ridiculous to only enforce on me." I brought that up and he said, "Nobody does that. I've never heard of that in my life." So I just had to walk away. Jack's been complaining to other housemates about this and saying that we need to watch out for me, and we all just think he's absurd for banning me. But a couple think that I should just at least try and compromise, so I'm confused. Am I the jerk? Not the jerk. Jack's request and reaction to OP's period are unreasonable and lack understanding. It's not uncommon for people to shower during their period, and OP's method of ensuring cleanliness in the bathroom seems perfectly reasonable. Jack's demand for OP to bleach the bathroom after every shower during their period is excessive and impractical, especially in a shared living situation. OP were right to point out that it's not reasonable to impose such a rule on them alone. Additionally, his belief that nobody pees in the shower is quite naive. So, not the jerk. Our next post is by Impressive Wing. Am I the jerk for having my nephew move in with me after he was disowned? My kids are angry with me. I am 50s, have 2 kids, Jamie, M24, and Mia, F22, their mother being my ex-wife, Sarah, F50s. Our marriage fell apart when Mia was still in diapers. Sarah was having an affair with my younger brother, and she became pregnant with my nephew, Caleb, M20. Sarah and my brother ended up getting together, although eventually my brother abandoned them and packed his bags and moved to another state when Caleb was around 2, and to this day never sees his son. We had shared custody of Jamie and Mia, but they gradually chose to spend more and more time at my home when they became teenagers, as they felt that their mom liked Caleb better than them. Since lockdown, Sarah has changed a lot as a person. She rededicated her life to Christ and joined a very cult-like online church. Recently, someone from his college outed Caleb as gay, and Sarah has disowned him as her son and ever so graciously gave him a week to get out of her house. Sarcasm, of course. I reached out to Caleb and told him that he is welcome to stay with me for free so that he can finish college. There's no way I could watch a family member become homeless without trying to help them. After some talking things out, he moved in, and I had him take Jamie's old bedroom. My kids haven't lived at home in a while now, so I have the space, and it's actually quite nice to have Caleb's company. The problem is that Jamie and Mia are both extremely upset with me for letting Caleb move in, considering their history with him and Sarah showing him favoritism. They say that there are other family members who could have taken him in. My parents offered, but they do live in another country, and that I should have asked them beforehand to consider their feelings. Jamie now even refuses to let me see my infant granddaughter until I get Caleb to leave. If I am an asshole, how can I make this right? I'd say OP is not the jerk by taking in Caleb. He did a compassionate and kind thing by helping a family member in need. OP's kids, Jamie and Mia, may be upset because of their history with Caleb and their mother's favoritism, but his decision to support Caleb in a difficult time is the right thing to do. However, teens don't move out of their mother's house because of a little favoritism. It could be that things were not pretty before they switched over to OP's house, and he probably never got all the story because they were confused and hurting teenagers and probably never processed the entirety of it themselves. OP needs to explain to them that his intention is not to hurt his kids, but to help a family member who is in a vulnerable situation. OP needs to reassure his kids that his love for them has not changed and that Caleb's presence in their home will not diminish OP's love for them. Our next post is by Caption Frogger. Am I the jerk for wearing scrubs even though I'm not a nurse? 5 years ago, when I was in high school, I got a job as a kennel technician at a pet store. When I got the job, I was told to go get a few pairs of scrubs and that I need to wear scrubs to work every day. I helped people out around the store just like all of the other employees, but my main job was to help the vet take care of the puppies. Obviously, the vet did the heavy lifting, and I was just there to assist. I don't know for sure why I was required to wear scrubs when the most medical thing I did was give the dogs their medicine, and I'm pretty sure it was just so the kennel techs looked professional. The owner was a bit pretentious and was always concerned with appearing professional. 3 years ago, when I started college, I had to quit my job at the pet store. I was determined to pay my way through college and not take out any student loans, and as much as I loved that job, it did not pay very well. When I quit, I got rid of all of the shirt scrubs, but I kept the pants because, as it turns out, nurses have been holding out on us, and scrubs are really comfortable. I treat them like sweatpants. They are comfortable and just something for me to wear around the house on my day off, but I would never go out in public wearing them. Fast forward to 2 days ago, when I went out to go check the mail while wearing some of my old scrubs without thinking about it. Our neighbor who lives in front of the mailboxes was out watering her garden, and she perked up when she saw me. She got all excited and told me about how her daughter was a nurse and how she knew I was in college, but she didn't know I was going to college to be a nurse. So I, of course, cut her off and said, "Oh, I'm actually in college, getting a degree in history," and I go on to explain why I had the scrubs and all that. To say she was mad about me wearing scrubs would be an understatement. She compared it to stolen valor, when people dress up like veterans and first responders when they aren't. She went on and on about how hard her daughter worked to become a nurse, and that nurses have earned the right to wear scrubs. I was honestly a little baffled because I wasn't trying to pretend to be a nurse, and now one of my neighbors, who I barely know, is lecturing me in the middle of our neighborhood. She posted on Facebook that afternoon that she saw someone out in public wearing scrubs, and that when she talked to them, it turned out they weren't even a nurse, It was very clear that she was talking about me, but I do appreciate that she said it was a stranger at a grocery store since she is friends with a lot of the people in our neighborhood. I didn't even consider that I could be in the wrong until I saw how everyone who was commenting on her post was agreeing with her. So am I the jerk? OP, you're not the asshole in this situation. Wearing scrubs for comfort around your home is perfectly fine, especially since you had a legitimate reason to own them in the past. You weren't trying to impersonate a nurse or deceive anyone intentionally. Your neighbor's reaction seems overly dramatic. Tons of people wear scrubs for work, such as kitchen staff, admin staff in the medical field, regular office workers. They are basically cotton pajama pants. Our next post is by Telephone. Am I the jerk for pretending another girl was my girlfriend? I, 25M, was out with my girlfriend, 25F, and some other friends. We were drinking and having a good time. I smoke, trying to quit, and went outside alone for a smoke. I was standing in front of the bar, kind of a short walk away. I don't like standing right in front of the door because the smoke gets into the bar or establishment. This frantic-looking woman is walking at normal pace, and there is a guy a couple of feet behind her. She walks to me and says, "Hey baby, I'm glad you're waiting where you said you would." I was confused at first, but I quickly understood the situation. This guy was weird, and on the way up he was muttering weird things like, "Just give me your number, you're so pretty, I just want to talk to you," etc. When I told someone else this story, I was asked why I didn't react when I saw her walking and heard that. And the answer is, it all happened very fast and I had been drinking. Once I put it together, I said, "Hey honey, been waiting for you." And she put her arm around me, and it took longer than I would have liked for the guy to leave. I was being gentle, saying, "All right, goodbye buddy, and we've got to get back home." Eventually, the guy left, but not because she wanted him to leave, because I kept insisting. Nothing bad happened at all. My girlfriend had been watching from the window and must have only caught the end part of it and saw the other girl with her arm around me. My girlfriend is not the type to cause a public scene. She'll wait until a private time to air her grievances. The girl had no money for an Uber and was planning on walking home but felt too nervous. So I arranged for an Uber to pick her up and waited outside with her until the car came. Jumping ahead to when I was home with my girlfriend, she asked me what was that all about and wanted to know why her arm was around me and why I stayed after the creep left. She put together that the guy was being weird, but she said I shouldn't have let her put her arm around me. Even though after the guy left, she removed it. None of my explanations were working, so I just turned it to her and said, "What would you have wanted me to do? And if you were here, what would you have wanted the guy to do?" She just couldn't answer and said to stop flipping it. OP is not the jerk in this situation. They were put in a difficult spot with a stranger's unwelcome advances, and they handled it by trying to defuse the situation and protect the woman involved. OP's actions were well-intentioned, and it's understandable that they were caught off guard and reacted quickly. OP's girlfriend may have some concerns, but they did their best to explain the situation, and her inability to provide an alternative course of action suggests that OP acted appropriately given the circumstances. Thank you for listening to the Reddit Chronicles. Follow for more content.